How can you protest the ownership of the Pohlads and their lack of investment in Minnesota Twins organization? I want to talk about that today because I've seen a lot of discourse on Twitter. I've seen a lot of people discussing how they're doing it. I've seen people just generally ask what they can do in some of our comments on twinsdaily.com, as well as some of our social media platforms, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, etc. And so I want to talk today about some of those options. Now, before we totally get into it, I want to say there is no one right way, right? This is a matter of opinion. So you protest how you want to protest. Of course, there are wrong ways to do it. We don't want to be, unpeaceful. We don't want to break any laws or do anything illegal, but there are many ways to legally, peacefully protest the Pohlad ownership of the Minnesota Twins. First of all, you could go scorched earth on it, which I know some of us are doing. In fact, this was what I was planning on doing in the days following the trade deadline. And then once the dust kind of settled, kind of came back to my senses, I knew that this wasn't the right way to do it. But we could just completely boycott Target Field, boycott the Twins, cancel our Twins TV subscriptions, stop buying Twins memorabilia and merchandise, go completely scorched earth on it. My issue with that is two things. On a personal level, I have a 5-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter. I want them to love baseball. I want them to love the Minnesota Twins. This is generally a concern I've had about baseball, and especially the Twins and the lack of investment is I'm worried that we're losing a generation of fans because the adults in the room are choosing to boycott, and rightfully choosing to boycott the Twins based off of this scenario, or baseball is too slow, it's not entertaining, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want that for my kids. I want them to love baseball, and I want them to love the Minnesota Twins. And so again, after the dust settled, I realized that that wasn't the best route to go. But more importantly, I think that validates the Pohlads, right? They view the Twins as a business. As much as I hate to say that, it's the truth. They are not necessarily fans of the Minnesota Twins like a Steve Cohen of the New York Mets is, and is willing to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to invest in his team. They are primarily business owners of the Minnesota Twins. And so if we boycott in mass, what's going to happen? Of course, revenue is going to drop. And like any good business owner would do when revenue is dropping, you are not going to invest as much into that business. Now, in my opinion, and I am not somebody who is savvy in the business world, but in my opinion, sports and baseball is something where if you invest in the team, the fans are going to come, right? Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. And we've seen that in 2023, all of our playoff appearances, Target Field, going back to the Metrodome days, our fan base shows up when this team is competitive. And how do teams in Major League Baseball get competitive? By investing in the club. And so I think that if we boycott the club, that's really just validating the Pohlads and almost going to encourage them to continue stop investing. And as we look at the long-term impact of that, we could be in a situation like the Oakland Athletics. Now, I do want to say this, I'm not trying to fearmonger. The Pohlad family and the Twins do have 20 more years on leasing at Target Field. And so this would be a very long-term concern, not anything in the short term, as it would cost an exorbitant amount of money to break that lease. But over the long term, if we do not show up for the Twins, there is that possibility that they move and leave the city of Minneapolis. And in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that's what we want as a fan base. So that's another reason that I'm hesitant to completely boycott, is I think it just validates the Pohlads and makes them feel right. So what are the ways that I'm gonna protest? Well, first and foremost, a little bit of a shameless plug here. Matthew Taylor of Twins Daily and his wife have created a Sell the Team t-shirt. You can go to sellpohlads.com, and for right around $20, including taxes and shipping, you can get either a sky blue or a white shirt with the Twins font on it. Looks really nice. That just says sell. I ordered one of those shirts, and the other nice thing about it is that they are donating 20% of the proceeds to people serving people. So not only are you getting a cool shirt out of the deal, not only are you sending a message and peacefully protesting, but you're actually supporting a greater cause. So that is definitely one way to do it. Now, there are probably, I haven't looked myself, there are probably many different versions of shirts and things that you could buy. I, again, personally just wanted to support somebody that is a friend of mine and works with Twins Daily. And so I went the route of buying a shirt from Matthew Taylor. Again, an added bonus that they are donating 20% of the proceeds to people serving people. But again, whatever shirt, hat, whatever that might be that you want to buy, that's a great way to go to a Twins game and peacefully protest. You could try bringing in signs. Now, to my understanding, security guards have been notified that they should not allow any signs that suggest that the Twins should sell, or excuse me, the Pohlads should sell the Twins. But at the same time, over the weekend, or maybe it was late last week, there was a sign right behind the Twins dugout that said that the Pohlads should sell the team. So whether maybe the security guard overlooked that sign or the fans snuck it in, who knows? But that's, again, another peaceful way to protest, is by creating some sort of a sign and bringing it to the stadium. But I think the biggest way that we can do, and I'd love to see this, I don't think I'm the person to try and organize this, but one thing I would love to see is, let's pack Target Field and just start a massive sell the team chant. We saw this a little bit on the broadcast, on one of the post-game broadcasts last week as Tim Loudner was breaking down the game. We heard fans in the background chanting sell the team.
When he had to, there were some other instances where the pitches that he was making, good pitches that didn't get called for strikes, bad pitches that maybe got called for strikes. And so Tarek Skubal, he battled his way through this, and I was kind of surprised.
But what type of a message would it send if we could pack Target Field and start sell the team chants? It would be so loud with all those people, showing that we come together for Twins baseball. Would that send the message that we want to send, to push the Pohlads to sell? Probably not, but I just think that would be a really cool way to protest the ownership of the Pohlad group, as if we were to show up in droves to one game and just really make it a point to send that message. Again, there is no one correct way to protest the Twins. If you want to go scorched earth and boycott everything, more power to you. That's not the route for me, both personally, for my family, but also just because, again, I think that validates the Pohlads. And so you will see me at least one more game at Target Field this summer, sporting Matthew Taylor's Sell the Team t-shirt and making my voice heard that way. I would encourage you to do the same. What are some other ways that you protest? Let us know in the comments, and let us know on social media. Follow twinsdaily.com for more.